Hey guys, so we're starting, but so I'm gonna be showing you how to make these octopuses, which no one really wanted a tutorial for, but I like the design, so I'm making a tutorial for it. I think I only had like one person on Instagram ask, which was, I guess it's just like last time with the Star tutorial, I had a lot of people, but making a tutorial for this anyways, just because I really like this design. I don't know what I do about, but they're also fun because like they don't have anything in, like you don't need stuffing, so you can just put them on your fingers, and I find that really fun. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think that they're also different because they have a little bit of like shape to them, and whenever I think of octopuses, I think they have this like soggy head. Um, so yeah. One bad thing about this design is that it's a little bit band heavy, I guess, for one of my designs. It does take 263 bands about, and that is a lot for my design, I guess, because I'm used to my, like, them taking about 100, maybe 200, so almost 300 is a lot. But yeah. So yeah, I'll show you how to make these octopuses. And also, this is actually, to me, an easier design of mine because there's not much attaching at all. The only thing we attach is pretty much the eyes. And the legs are kind of added on. But yeah, there's just a lot of tucking at the end because you have to tuck the camera keeps almost falling, so that's not good. But hopefully my camera will stay up. But yeah, so it's just a lot of tucking at the end because you gotta tuck like the band we used to tie at the end of all his legs. But yeah, I think that's it. So for this, you're just gonna need something for the bands, of course, and something for the eyes. You can use either wrapped bands or beads. I'm gonna use beads. Also, I had some people asking me where I get my beads. They were like a pack of just black beads from Michael's, and that's where I got them, in case anyone's wondering. We're gonna need some bands. So today I'm gonna be using neon pink, and then you're gonna need something to mark your rows, using a C-clip, and then a hook. And I'm using a double-edged hook just because I'm comfortable with it, but you could totally just use a regular hook. And I think that is it. So I'm gonna move these guys out of the way. So to start, let me focus my camera. I won't focus. There we go. Okay, so to start, you're just going to wrap a band on your hook 3 times. Like that. And now, we're going to be putting 5 bands in this cap band. So, you're just going to pull the band through, both ends back on, and then pull the back one over the front one. And then you go back into that cap band, pull the band through just the cap band, both ends back on, put the back one over the front one, and then put this band over too. And you're going to want to do that 3 more times. So, same thing. Pull the band through, put both ends back on, push that one over, and then push this other one over too. And you're just going to do that 2 more times, and then you'll have 5 in your cap band. So once you have 5 loops, and I'll show you how to count it. So you go count the one on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. So you have 5. So once you have 5, instead of going back into the cap band, you're gonna go into this first loop here, and not this bit, that bit. And you're just gonna pull a band through, just like you would the cap band. And then on this one, we're going to put a C-clip. And don't take your hook out. I have such a bad habit of when I put the C-clip on, I take my hook out. I don't know why. Oh, I just hit the camera. But like that. So now we're going to be increasing everything. And what that means is in each loop, we're going to be putting 2 bands in it instead of just 1. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Just picking up some bands. So we already have 1 in this first loop, but because we're increasing, we're going to go back into the same loop, and we're going to put another stitch. I pulled my hook out, don't do that. It should not come undone like that. Like that. So now this loop has 2 in it, so we're going to go on the next loop, and you're going to do the same thing. So you just put 1 stitch in, and you go back and you put another one, and that's an increase. And we're going to be increasing all the loops this row, so you're just going to increase all of them until you get back to the C-clip. So you're just putting 2 in each loop. Okay, and then once you get back to the C-clip, you're just going to do 1 stitch in it and then move it up. You just stitch, and then you just move the C-clip off that band it was on and onto this one. And now we're going to count, so you should have 10 loops, so count the one on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now for the next row, we're going to be increasing every other stitch, so we'll do 1 with just 1 in it, and then 1 with 2, if that makes sense. So this one has 1, so we're not going to go back into this one because this one's not an increase, and then we're going to go into the next one and we're going to do an increase. We'll be putting 2 in this one. Then in the next one you just do 1 because we're increasing every other loop. And then we did 1, so now we're going to do an increase. And then if you do an increase, you do 1 normal, just with 1 in it. And the next one you do 2. You do 1. And 2. So you're basically just alternating putting 1 and then 2 stitches in each loop until you get back to the C-clip. Then I'll count to tell you how many you should have. Just making sure I'm doing this correctly. Picking up bands again. Okay. This is increase. Okay, and then you're just going to move your C-clip up, so you just do 1 stitch in the one with the C-clip, and then you move it up onto that band. And then after that, you should have 15 loops, so just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So once you have 15 loops, we're going to be doing 2 rows with no increasing, and yeah. So in this row, we'll just be not increasing, so you'll just be putting 1 stitch in every loop, and none of them have 2, if that makes sense. I guess I always forget, I have no idea what, like, crochet terms call it, because I know, like, most of you use that, and I don't. And I'm sorry. But I get more confused by that. So yeah, we're just putting 1 in every loop until we get back to the C-clip, and you do this for 2 rows, so this would be row 1, and then you do 1 more. But you're just putting 1 in every loop until you get back to the C-clip. It's funny because, like, the head kind of comes together so quickly. The legs are what takes, like, forever. So you just do this till you get back to the C-clip. And you just move the C-clip up. So we're going to be doing another row just like this one where we don't increase at all. We're just doing one in every loop. So we're going to do that one more time. Just picking up more bands. And I could go off camera for this, but because it's just 2 rows, I'm just doing them on camera because I don't know, I find that easier. Okay, so I've picked up more bands. And just like last row, we'll just be doing one in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. Oh my gosh, I keep taking my hook out. But yeah. I'm thinking of maybe making like another octopus design, but making it like more like a kawaii version, like less of a real shape with the head, because I feel like there wouldn't be a way to make it take like this design take less bands, even if it was smaller, just because of how the legs are. So I'm thinking of doing like a rounder version that's more like kawaii, I guess, but I'm gonna make sure no one else has done it first, because I've seen some people do it, so yeah. Need to check that. Oh, I forgot to count after the last row. But after the last row, since we didn't increase, you should have had 15 still. And same thing after this row, you should still have 15. I'm not going to count because, well, I should probably count still, but I just get so lazy with the counting sometimes. Okay, and then we just move the C-clip. And now, oops, almost dropped it. And now I'll count. So you should still have 15 after this row, but I'm just going to count to make sure, well, after the past 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you should still have 15. Same thing with the last row. So now that we've done those 2 rows with no increasing, we are going to be decreasing. And I'll show you how to do that. Picking up more bands because I hate like picking one up each time. I don't know. I just put a bunch of my finger, and to me that works best. Okay. So now we're going to be decreasing. So we're going to be decreasing every third. So 1, then we do 1 more normal, just no increasing or decreasing or anything. And then the next one we're going to do a decrease because it's the third thing we're doing, I guess. Or it would be the third loop, that's kind of how I look at it. So to decrease, you grab the front one of the first stitch and the back one of the next stitch. Then you just make a stitch like normal. And that's a decrease. And now we're going to do that. Oh, a minute. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. So now we're going to just keep doing that. So you decrease on the third, so you do 1 normal. And then you do another one. Just normal. And then on the third one, you decrease. So you go through the first one, the first stitch, and the back one of the next stitch. Next loop, I guess. You make one like normal. And you just keep doing that till you get back to the C-clip. So you do 1, 2, and then on the third one we decrease. And 1, 2. Okay, and then on this last one, your decrease is going to be on the band that has a C-clip, but you just decrease anyways. And then just move the C-clip up onto this band. And now you should have 11 loops. So if you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. So you should have 11. And now that you have 11, we are going to be doing 2 rows again, just no increasing, just 1 in each loop. And after these 2 rows, you should still have 11 loops left. So if you want to get ahead, you can do that, but I'm going to do them on camera because it shouldn't take that long. So you're just going to go into each loop and just do 1 stitch all the way around until you get back to the C-clip. And you do this for 2 rows, but I'll stay on camera and do both rows, because this should only take a second. But you're just doing 1 in every loop. Then once you get to the C-clip, you just move it up, and we're going to do this exact same thing one more time. So now we're just going to do this again, just doing 1 in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. I'm having a hard time seeing right now because it's like, because we decrease. God. But yeah, I'm just putting 1 in each loop until I get back to the C-clip, and I'm almost there. It's just I'm having problems seeing. Is my camera focused? Okay, and then you're just going to move the C-clip up. Let me see if the head looks correct, because I'm not... Well, I'm pretty sure it does, but... I got it wrong. Unattach. Okay. So your head should be looking... Okay, the head does look correct. So what you're going to want to do is you can kind of see the head already wants to go back a certain way. You just kind of push it back that way. Or I guess in one direction. And it'll make it look like it's like kind of soggy in the back. You kind of just push it. We do have 1 more row still, so it won't look completely done yet. So this is the last row for the head, and then we do the legs. So like I said, the head is pretty fast. Oh, I don't know why my head looks so flat. It's just because I flattened it on accident right now. Yeah, because it does look correct. But yeah. So now we're going to be decreasing every third again. So this is 1, so 2. And in this third one, we do a decrease. So you just grab the front one of the first loop and the back one of the next loop. And then you move on to the next one, you just do 1 normal. Then you do another 1 normal. And then the next one, you do a decrease to the first one. The first loop and the back one of the next loop. Then you do 2 normal. Okay, so your decrease this time should be on the C-clip again, but instead of just doing the decrease, we're just going to do 2 normal ones. So don't decrease on the C-clip. Just do 2 normal stitches. Not in the C-clip, but there should be one before the C-clip, if that makes sense. Like that. And that is it for the head. And it should look correct. If it doesn't, you can just push it down in the back more and it'll look more soggy, but I think it's more or less a shave at this point. So now after that row, you should have 9 loops left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now you can take your hook out at this point because we're going to be doing the legs, and the legs to me are what take the longest. So let me just get some bands. Okay, so I finished grabbing bands. So yeah, and your head should look like this, by the way, at this point. It's kind of hard to see because it's still very, doesn't have much, but basically to do the legs, we're just going to leave this here on the C-clip, and as long as you don't pull on it, it should be fine. And we're going to go into this first loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to start like making a single chain in this loop, and we're going to do 10 loops. So that's 1. Is it focused? No, it was not. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And then after the 10th one, what I usually do is I'll just make 1 normal stitch, but pull it a little bit tighter so it stays. Now what I do is I'll come back to the bottom, and you can put this, the band that has the C-clip on it, you can actually take the C-clip out at this point because we don't need it anymore. And so yeah, now you have this band on your hook, and you're just going to go into this first chain we made, or the loop, and you're just going to do 1 normal stitch. Like that. And then you're going to go into the next chain, and you're going to put 1 heard my mother, got distracted. What was I doing? Yeah, and you just do 1. So basically you're gonna put just 1 stitch in every single one of these loops up until we get to this band up here. So we just keep doing that. Just putting 1 in each of these loops that we made all the way up. And I'm probably going to go off camera to do some of the legs because they take, to me, they take a while. But I'll come back and show you how to make them curly and then how to attach the eyes, and that'll be it. But yeah. So you're just putting 1 stitch in each of these loops. And this is also the part that takes most of the bands, so. And then once you get to this top one, you're going to do 1 more stitch normally. I don't know, my camera looks blurry. But then at this point, what I like to do is I kind of loosen this one a little bit. Oops, not that much. But basically, you just make it so it's not that tight, and then you're just going to add it on. Basically, you're going to, let me redo that so you can see. So you're going to make it a little, like, can't speak. You're going to make it a little bit looser, and then you're going to grab the top loop, and then you're just going to push this back one over the front one. And then you're going to go back into this top loop, and you're going to pull a band through everything on your hook. And then you'll pull it tight. And then tuck this in. And I'll usually just go through some of the bottom of the loops here. I went too far down. And then yeah, you just tuck it in. And that's 1 leg, so you need to do 8 of these, and I'll show you how to do it in case you're a little confused. But basically, there's 8 loops left on the bottom of the octopus. So you just go in each loop. I think there's 8 loops. Well, there should be 7 actually. Let me count real quick. So we did this first one, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in 7 of those loops, you're going to make a chain of 10 loops, and then you're going to put 1 stitch in each loop, and then you'll just do the thing I did at the end, and that's what you do for all of his legs. And this definitely takes the longest, but I'll show you again. I don't know why I thought I saw someone out my window. There was just a tree. But I'll show you one more time, and then I'll go off camera to do the rest, because this does take a while. So you're just going to go into the next loop. Once again, you're going to make a chain of 10. So you start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9 and 10. And then on this top one, of course, we do that. We pull one through and then we tie it. You pull it tight enough so it won't come loose, but not too tight to where you can't get it undone later. And then I'm grabbing more bands. Okay. And then you just start chaining up the sides. So you go through the first loop, and you just start making stitches. And you're only going up one of the sides, by the way. You don't go up both sides. I don't know why I feel like my camera's blurry. But yeah, you're just putting in 1 stitch in each loop all the way up the sides. And when you go through the loop, make sure you're going through just 1/2 of it, if that makes sense. I didn't really show that. Which is like, whoops. But I hope you could see what I was doing. I just feel like it's blurry. Like, it looks blurry. And then again, once you get to the top, you're just going to do 1 stitch normal. And when you could just like loop this on, but oh god, my camera fell. Sorry, my camera fell. That keeps happening. I need to find a better way to set up my camera because it keeps falling. But like I said, once you finish a stitch, you could just loop this on, but to me it would look looser. So what I like to do is I just pull this part a little bit just to loosen it up, and then I loop it on. And then of course you go back to the loop, pull a band through everything, and tie it tight. I also saw some comments saying I don't know how to tie it, but basically you just put the back one over the front one, and then you just pull this tight, and that's how you tie it. And then you just tuck the tail in. Like that. Okay, so now we have 2 legs, but you're going to want to do that for the other 6 loops that are left. And I think I'm going to show you probably one more time, maybe, and then I'll show me chaining it up one more time, and then I'll go off camera and do it, and do the rest, because these legs get really repetitive. My camera's slowly falling again. But yeah, so I'll do the rest of the legs off camera, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to twist the legs so they look all twisty like this, instead of just straight. But yeah, I'll show you one more time, and then I'm going to go off camera. Where was I? So you just go into the next loop, and you're going to want to make sure you're going into the next one, the correct loop basically. You just chain up 10. So once you have 10 bands, which you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep bumping my camera 1 minute. Okay. Oh. Sorry, my camera's just not cooperating. So like I said, once you change to 10, you just pull a band through the top one and tie it tight enough. You go back down, and I always try to make sure that I'm doing the stitches that are up one side all on the same side, because to me it would look gross if you put it on the other side. But it probably won't look too bad, it's just like a me thing. Like, it bugs me. So yeah, once again, we're just going to be putting 1 stitch in all of the loops all the way up to that top band. I'm going to try to do this fast because this tutorial is already probably way too long. So I went off camera to finish the legs because my camera like timed out, and I figured it was better if I just went off camera and finished it. I think my family's at my door, but oh well. I have no idea what they're doing, but yeah, if you just did the thing where you do the 10 loops and then chain up one side, well, not chain, put stitches up one side, it should look like this right now, and the legs are kind of curling already, but not really. And yeah, so I'm just gonna put the eyes in real quick, and then I'll show you how to do the legs. So you're just gonna want to get your eyes, and then I usually try to go opposite of this thing, so I just go to the front of that. And I'll just go right here in the front. Usually go pretty far down too. And then I just tie the eyes in. And tucking this in is interesting because you can kind of just pull the end of it. It's not focused, I just realized. You can kind of just pull the end of it in, and you don't really have to worry about like tucking it. Oh god, his eye just went all the way in. Yeah, like that. And as long as you just pull it in, like, you can't really see it because it's a mess in there. And then you're just gonna put the other eye. I'm having a problem seeing. Go right here. And if you can tell, I'm kind of on the last row. Like, you can see where the chains start, and that's usually where I put the eyes. I don't know if I'm going too far apart. Oh well, I guess we'll see. Just tuck this in. Does that keep happening when the eyes go all the way in? Like that. Oh god, I definitely put his eyes way too far out. Like, well, I guess not really. So, at this point, to curl the legs, what I usually do is I'll just grab the leg and I'll just kind of twist it to one side. And it'll usually just kind of curl on its own. If that makes sense. Just kind of twist it. And then they'll curl. So if you just twist the legs. Most of mine were already curling, so. But if you want them more twisted, you just basically twist them and then let them go, and they'll kind of just twist themselves. And if one direction doesn't work, just try to twist it in the other direction. Yeah, and then like that, he is done. So I gave these octopuses bows, and you could give him bows, but at this point he's pretty much done. That's it. I'm not gonna show me putting a bow on because that's like optional. But if you make one of these, definitely, and you post it on Instagram, tag me in it. I would want to see it. And oh god. I think that's like the third time my camera has fallen in this tutorial. But like I said, subscribe if you want to see more tutorials. I am making more, and yeah, I'll put my Instagram and everything in the description, and the pattern and band count, so if you got confused at any point, check the description. And I think that's it. So yeah. Bye.